guys, and welcome back to another episode of Off the Shelf. I'm your host, Ronan Time HD, and this week, what we found off the shelf was... Flow, released in 2024. It is a Latvian adventure film. It is a Gints Zilbalodis film. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. And it is the first Latvian film to be nominated and win an Academy Award, a first for both of those, which is great. It was also, and by the way, it's an indie animated film that won Best Animated Feature this year. Which is amazing. I know I'm a little late to the party, which was like almost a year ago at this point. I've been watching a lot of movies, but I finally got around to it, and before I get into the film itself, I just kind of want to stand on a bit of a soapbox here. I just think it's so incredible that films like this, like small indie animated films from from Latvia, and even like not even the country is important. It's important for the filmmakers, but I think just small indie animated films like this beating out like DreamWorks and Disney, like the big cheeses, like the big boys of the animated space. That's insane. And I think it's great that it's great that these films are getting acknowledged and are being appreciated by the Academy and by people. I think films like this deserve more recognition. And with that being said, I'm going to get off my soapbox now, and I'm thinking I'm going to just talk about the movie. Now, this film is different. And by different, I mean it's a lot more artistic in nature, right? I think, and that's not a bad thing. I think that's a great thing. There is not a single word of spoken dialogue in this film. It is all animal noises, which I think is a great way of them doing the wordless storytelling. You have to pay attention to the film to really know the underlying story elements that are there. Because obviously the main story is the animals, this like ragtag group of animals trying to survive, trying to sail on this boat and survive this flash flood, right? But there's also character arcs for some of the main animals. Now, some of them remain all the way they are, like the capybara. I love the capybara because he's just chill. Like, he's probably the most normal animal. Like, obviously, they all got something going on, and they all act like the animals that they act like, and in doing that, the capybara just kind of lays around a lot, But he helps. He's like the glue that keeps the group together. I think also one thing that's really funny is this is a little bit of a tangent why I like the capybara so much. There's like a funny part of the movie where the lemur's like a collector, right? So he has like this basket of stuff, right? And there was this like little glass ball, and it fell out of the ship because the bird accidentally or maybe intentionally kicked the ball out of the ship. So the ship gets caught in a tree branch because the lemur was freaking out about it and attacking the bird who was commandeering the ship. So the capybara actually went out to go get the ball for the lemur because he's just a cool guy like that. And then this giant mutated whale swims up near it, and then the capybara just like immediately and calmly turns around. It's really funny. Because he was going to get the ball, but then the giant fucking whale, he's like, I don't think I will anymore. I just thought that was a funny little bit of comedy, because there was like comedic moments, but obviously since you can't speak, it was like kind of physical comedy, or more like, I guess, just comedy without words, I guess. Physical comedy would be a good way of saying it. But also I really liked the main character, the cat. I thought he was cool. I liked him. I liked how he went through the story arc of, since he's a cat, he's like really independent. He really just kind of wants to do stuff on his own, right? But as the film goes on, he learns to, work more as a team with the other animals. And there's, like the director said in a behind the scenes featurette, he talked about how the dog has like an inverse story arc to the cat, where the dog, at the beginning of the movie, he's really like dependent. You know, he really is, he's a dog. He loves to be told what to do. He likes to just follow the leader, basically. But at the end of the film, he learns to be more independent. Like the inverse of the cat. So, because he's with this pack of dogs the whole time, right? And he kind of just follows whatever they want to do, right? Whatever they're doing, he's doing. But at the end of the film, because they actually tag along, they're not a part of the crew, though. I don't count those pack of dogs as part of the crew, part of the ship. They're not, they're not part of the crew, I'm just saying. But he is. The retriever is. And so they find so at the beginning of the movie, they're chasing a bunny, right? And then they find the cat, and then they chase the cat. Well, no, the cat gets a fish that they were fighting over, and then they chase him. It's a whole thing. But they were chasing a bunny at first. And so the other dogs, they were originally trying to pull the ship, because the ship was hanging from a tree, and it was going to fall, and the capybara was still there. But they saw the bunny, and they ran, because they're just dogs. And they don't know the capybara as much as the other animals do, so they just run away and go to chase the rabbit. But the retriever, instead of chasing the rabbit with them, he stays and helps them get the capybara back on land and not fall to his death, which is the ending of his story arc. And I liked that. And I liked all the animals in the film, like, of the main crew. I really liked them. They all had very defined personalities. For being animals that don't speak, they are very expressive, I guess. The animation is very expressive, and it gives a very good tell of each of their personalities. I very much enjoy it. However, this isn't really a complaint. I think it's just like, I've just finished watching it, and I think maybe a rewatch, or maybe hearing some interpretations, like, this is fresh off of watching it. The bird. Now, I really liked the bird. They were a very interesting character. They, like, were kind of also a straight man alongside the capybara. They were just trying to kind of get the crew to where they needed to go to survive. But eventually, at one point, they flew off the ship. Even though they had a broken wing, they were still able to fly somewhat. And they flew to the top of this tower, and the cat followed them. And when they got up there, they started levitating, and there was, like, Aurora Borealis and stuff, and there was, like, you know, stars and a bunch of, like, kind of ethereal stuff. And then, like, the cat was going down, and then the bird kept going up, and then the bird just kind of vanished. And I'm like, the tower had, like, some kind of symbol at the top of it. Like, this giant rock tower. And it really confused me. Like, I didn't really know what was going on. Did the bird, like, ascend? Was it, like, chosen by the rock gods or something? I don't know. Well, that's probably not it. I'm just, the rock gods, yeah. The fucking rock on birds, yeah. But, if you guys have seen this movie, can you explain what happened with the bird? Because I really don't get it. I mean, it was a really beautifully animated scene. I just didn't know what the fuck was going on. Right, I didn't know what the hell was going on. So if you knew what was going on, please explain it in the comments, because I would like to know, or I could just look it up later. I don't know. Either way, aside from, like, I mean, I don't really have that many big complaints. I think they're just, like, a couple nitpicks. Like, me not really know what's going on with the bird. That's not really a complaint. That's just, like, I guess, a misunderstanding on my part, not the film's fault. But overall, I think obviously the animation was very beautiful. I really liked the stylized characters. And honestly, I just really enjoyed the dynamic that the crew had with each other. I really enjoyed them as a group. And I like at the end how they stuck together. You know, they're a group now. I like that. But I think, with that being said, obviously, there's probably more to this film, but I'd probably understand more of it on a rewatch, and this is my first viewing, so maybe if I had watched it twice, or maybe if this was our second viewing, I would have had more interpretations, more things I would have noticed, but I haven't. Maybe, hang on, another thing, leave it down in the comments. Are there details that you find interesting that I might have missed? Leave them down in the comments. I'd love to hear them. I always love to hear fun facts or things about films that I missed. I always love to hear about details. However, with that being said, would I recommend this film? Absolutely. I think this film is incredibly enjoyable. I think for generally, like, everybody. I think anybody can get an enjoyment out of this film, like, of any age, of any demographic. I think this film is a very accessible film if you can look past it not having dialogue, which I don't even think is really a problem, right? I think film not having dialogue isn't a problem, and I think it actually adds to the film's atmosphere. However, I think if you, I don't know, whatever I'm saying, just support indie animation is what I'm saying. Just watch more films like this. I think you will definitely enjoy it, and if you don't, well, I'm sorry I let you down. I don't know what I'm saying. Either way, I would recommend it. And with that being said, what would I rate this film? You know, I think I'd rate this film an 8 out of 10. And, yeah, I think I have something to say. Think of some peace. So, guys, hope you like this video. Share it with your friends. Subscribe. Turn those notifications on. Comment down below on how much you liked it. And I've been Ultimate G. Off to seek higher ground. You know, as I was watching this film, the director talked about, like, how he based the dog and the cat off of pets that he has or had. And when I was watching the cat, it just reminded me of my cat. And the dog reminded me of my dog. That's probably why I was really attached to those characters, and I didn't want anything bad to happen. I didn't want anything bad to happen to any of the characters, but the cat and the dog specifically, and also the capybara, because it's a capybara. Capybaras are chill. If you don't like a capybara, I don't like you. That's maybe a little far, but I think you might be mean if you don't like a capybara. Capybaras are chill. Why? You can't be a chill dude and like a chill animal. Come on now. I don't know what I'm saying, but I don't know. They just reminded me of my animals, and that's why I got really attached to them, and I like them.